What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Difficult to Please podcast, episode 63.
Gang, gang. That's it. I didn't want to go too crazy.
No. We are recording on Wednesday, February 6th, 2025.
Did we record earlier this year?
What's up?
Did we record earlier this year?
No, we did. This is our first episode of the year. I think the last one, I feel like it might have been in December.
Oh, I don't remember. Anyways, time's a construct. Either way, man, January felt so long. January felt like the longest month in the world.
Yeah. No, just because like the election stuff, and then it's like it's like the normal like ebb and flow of life. It's like when you get out of like the holidays, and there's kind of like that, like haze after New Year's. You're just kind of like, I don't know what day it is. Like, oh shit, I'm back at work, and then you try and get into a routine, and then it's like this year, it's like it feels longer. Like it's fucking. A Salvador Dali fucking like a painting. Like it just feels like it's being stretched over with like all the stuff with Trump coming back in office, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, why does it feel so long?
Yeah, it feels really long, but it's already like February 6th for some odd reason. It just, that was, for me, that's pretty quick, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, but even, I know it's like last week was like the 31st, but I think when the first hit, I was like, "Oh yeah, sick! It's finally over." But I'm like, "Was that really 31 days, dude? That was fucking long."
That was super long. Oh my gosh, yeah, freaking. Oh man, so much has happened in January. I feel like I got a lot of stuff done in January too. I also feel like I didn't get anything done, but that's why I'm trying to track shit. Because I'm like journaling now. Like I'm really trying to be diligent about it. I'm like trying to follow like the whole James Clear Atomic Habits thing where like you just keep everything like right next to you and it's just open like right in front of my desk like at all times. So I'm trying to like get those habits in, have art books open like right in front of my computer, my desk and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, okay, buried entry is really low. Do.
No, I was like, I'm on the vibe of like, fuck a resolution. I'm just gonna. When it comes, it comes. I'm not going to fucking resolve what?
Yeah.
What am I resolving to?
Yeah. So I'm not also doing New Year's. Like probably my only New Year's resolution is to journal more. That's it. Just to keep myself accountable with the journal. That's pretty much it. But then I still have like myself divided into quarterly goals and stuff like, which reminds me, I have to do my month assessment later, but I'll do that soon.
See, it's like you're committed to the like atomic habits, and I'm like not, because like I have a passion planner, and I bought it last summer for like, because like let me try this thing, and it's like I'm doing my best, but it's like, god damn, this is like why am I doing this? And it's like it's the I guess it's a bunch of existential questions for me of like, why the fuck am I writing down what I'm going to do on this day and like at this time? I'm like, just fucking happens. I don't know. I'm just in a weird space of like, I don't know what time is right now.
I guess
I have deadlines for things, but I'm like, I don't know what the fuck time is.
I try not to set deadlines for the most part. Like, okay, quarterly goals, but I try to make them so low that I feel good about accomplishing them. Like one of them is literally like send a job application out. Like that's just like, it just make sure you send 30 by the end of 90 days kind of thing. If you get two interviews, hey man, reward yourself for that. Doesn't mean you have to get a job, but it just means you're doing it. So I guess that takes the pressure off of me so much about like, oh, if I do this and I don't get a job, that means I didn't finish my goal. So it just broke down to at least get 2 interviews, at least send 30 job applications. That's good enough for me, buddy. So, you know, like one of them is like really, God, what did I put for one of them? Oh, it's just study for 10 minutes. That's it.
You're right. This atomic habits shit is like so low. You're like, fuck.
No, but then like,
let me just like.
But it's so funny because I kind of read what's his name, Ali Abad. Oh, God, I'm gonna butcher his name, but Ollie, he's like one of these like productivity people on like YouTube. He's like a doctor who got into productivity stuff. So I read his book, Feel Good Productivity, and he seriously like he breaks down like how you can feel good about accomplishing goals without punishing yourself. And like I kind of like took a lot of those things because he kind of synthesizes the stuff that like James Clear puts out, or like the other people who do habit stuff and tracking stuff and whatnot. And it just kind of feels good that like it's like sometimes like you just put on your gym shoes and that's it. Like that's the goal, is just to put on gym shoes. But then because you do step one, it makes you go like, well, if I'm already here, I might as well just fucking do it. Like one of them's literally, it's not work out for 30 minutes. It's drive to the gym. That's it. And like, if you want to go home, you can go home right after. Or yeah. So it's like one of those things where it's like, make it so impossibly low that while you're doing it, you might as well just do it kind of thing. Because they always say like in psychology, the most difficult thing is starting. So just make the goal of starting so much easier for you kind of thing. Anyways, that's how I'm approaching it. So maybe like I said, like when I'm listening to your passion project stuff, I'm like, oh, maybe you're just like doing the wrong things in your passion. I don't know. Maybe you're putting like too high expectations for your passion project. I don't know what the fuck you want to do, Erwin. Like it's just...
Well, it's so funny because like when you talk about like how you like you're centering your kind of journaling and how you were approaching productivity, it's like the anti Gary Vee, and that's how I kind of like am approaching life now. It's like, yeah, I'm not gonna hustle, and I'm like, nah, fuck that shit. I'm not do fucking hustle. So it's just like I think when we first started the podcast, I think a lot of Gary Vee was kind of like,
oh yeah, we had this conversation.
It was like, yeah, it was like a part of like our like formations, and it was a lot of like sharing like Gary Vee videos, and it's like going through the ebb and flows of like content creating. It's like, yeah, it's like the bro like hustle mentality of Gary Vee was very, it's not in our DNA. It was just kind of like the hoodie we wore, I think, when we started the podcast. And it's like, as we grew up, as we matured, and it's like, this hoodie doesn't fit like what we're doing now in our lives. So it's just kind of like, oh yeah, like we're not like, I could still like watch Gary Vee, but I'm more like just wary of like what he's trying to say. I'm like, yeah, I guess, but I'm like, but why not? It doesn't fit me now.
Do you think it's because we're not entrepreneurs? Because I feel like if you're an entrepreneur, that's a totally different story, right? I think the hustle culture is very dominant. Like if you want to be, let's say, even an artist, I think if you want to be an artist too, I think that whole Gary Vee hustle thing mentality, I think that's still viable, right? Because if you say like, oh, I want to be an artist that sells paintings, and it's like, cool. Like if you don't, like, I feel like if you do like the Gary Vee approach to stuff, like, you know, kind of like, you know, he has this whole philosophy about hustling and like doing good work, and doing like lots of hard work, like doing a bunch of like like instead of your 9 to 5, it becomes your 5 to 9 kind of thing. I still think that's pretty viable, because if you do want to do something as a solo entrepreneur, I mean, the only person that could accomplish something is yourself. It's like, so you're literally making a paycheck. You're trying to make a paycheck for yourself rather than someone handing it to you for showing up kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe that's me trying to defend it a little bit, but I can see.
No, it's totally fine. That's why it's like, for me, it's like,
that's not our hoodie anymore.
Yeah, it's not our hoodie anymore. Because I think, while I think there's some validity, I think it also because like, yeah, we're not entrepreneurs. This is, when we do this podcast, it's not a fucking money machine. We've made no money on this fucking podcast. So it's more of like what he preaches and what he's like, you know, his books, his like audio books, whatever, his podcast previously, whatever. After digesting that as like going at it for the first like few years of doing the podcast for us, and it's like, and doing our like creative careers or like just our careers in general, it's just kind of like, yeah. Like it gets you to a point, but then it's like, okay, I'm hustling, but I'm not seeing the results. And it's like, okay, then there's other like thought leaders like I don't know. For me, it's like always like Seth Godin is still kind of like, for me, like a really kind of like timeless creator, for lack of a better term. Like I still like read his blogs, and
Oh yeah,
I
I
think
need to
his
start
books.
blogs.
I think it's also like he has a very like calm demeanor. I think versus Gary Vee is very New York, still like in your face and like very aggressive in his style of communication, which there's obviously an audience for that, and I was part of the audience before, but for me it's like that same communication style doesn't affect me or doesn't kind of push me in a way that it used to, and that's why I see it on a different lens. So it's like, oh, okay, like the things he says, there's weight to it, but like we've said before about like different people, like even like how Seth Godin and Matt Davella and Gary Vee, they're kind of like different takes and angles into how to approach life. And it's like, maybe I'm more in, like, I've transitioned more into like, I'm just going to listen to like Scott Galloway and fucking Seth Godin about various marketing and whatever growth strategies, whatever the fuck.
I think it's kind of funny because like when you mentioned it to me a while back, I'm like, well, Scott Galloway and Gary Vaynerchuk essentially talk about the same thing almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right.
Exactly.
Maybe its delivery style is different. I think Gary Vaynerchuk's very good for like younger people for sure. I think Scott Galloway too is, but I think his audience is more a little bit older, right? A little bit older men, like probably late 20s, I would say. And then I feel like Gary Vaynerchuk's the person you kind of want to listen to when like you're still trying to like figure out like how to wear a suit kind of thing. And like you don't know what you're doing. You like that kind of like your level of your life.
Yeah, it's still like
I would want to hear
just,
that.
you know, just move in with 5 of your homies in fucking Brooklyn and fucking do what you do. And it's like, I guess Gary Vee.
Yeah, I guess it's hard to it's hard to do that to a someone our age, right? You're like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
But
There's
if I was my nephew
there's
Nate,
a part of it is like there's the reality check of like, okay, this isn't this. That's why I'm like, yeah, it's a hoodie that doesn't fit. It's like
it's a nice hoodie that doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah, or it's like
very nice.
It's like an all over Bape hoodie, like
Okay.
the OG camo or like the purple camo, and you're like, man, that's a good hoodie. But I'm like, motherfucker, I'm almost pushing 40. I don't know if I can wear a purple Bape all over hoodie, you know?
I know my baby Milo hoodie's so hard for me to wear now. Like I have
That's
to
what I'm
layer
saying.
it. Like I was telling a friend this the other day. I'm like, if I'm wearing that, dude, I have not worn my kid robot hoodie in years. The pill one, because I'm just like, man, I'd be so embarrassed wearing it in public, kind of thing. And I was like, how's the only way I could do this? And I was talking to a friend about this. I'm like, if I wear like anime shirts or something like that now, I have to wear it like with a suit over it or something, like a suit jacket over it or something, just to like to kill the pattern a little bit, because it's just, you know, it's too loud for me, man. All over prints, that's kind of like not stylistic. Because oh my gosh, I could not wear that hoodie like in public anymore. Like the Bape hoodie I have, the panda one, is decent because it's like it's just clean.
Yeah, it's
clean.
one solid navy blue, and yeah, you go all the way up. There's the face, but that's it. It's not
That's
like
it.
all over print.
Yeah, no, that's hard for me. That's so hard for me. I have to cut the color. I have to cut the patterns with like a suit, because I'm like, oh, at least it's like it's more of an accent at that point now, rather than like palette dominant. That's such a weird way of pulling it. Yeah.
No, yeah, and just to tie that off is like that's how I see like Gary Vee and like, yeah, it's like really at the core of what he's trying to say is good. It's just not for me anymore.
Got it. Fair.
So like, I guess like easy segue. Just wanted to rant real quick. Even though it was like, I think a week ago, I don't know how long it's been, but Family Mart, the chain of Japanese convenience stores, the competitor to 7-Eleven, has announced that Nigo of Bape fame and Human Made and Kenzo,
Teriyaki Boys.
Teriyaki Boy, DJ Nigo. Fucking, he's now the creative director of Family Mart, and I have no idea what the fuck that means. It's like the Kanye like line about, or that Kanye interview where someone says like, yeah, Lady Gaga is the creative director of a Kodak or Polaroid, but what the fuck does she know about cameras? Like what the fuck does Nigo know about fucking like buying a katsu sandwich at 3 a.m.? Like what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Where's it going to be when Anthony Bourdain comes in, rest in peace, and wants like an egg salad sandwich? Okay.
It's so stupid. Like what? Like it doesn't make sense to me because maybe there's a disconnect as a foreigner from Japan. Like I don't understand the reason to have Nigo involved in anything.
Well, what about Hiroshi Fujiwara when he designed the Starbucks in Harajuku?
But I feel like that's just kind of like a one-off thing. Like the B-side Starbucks is like, that's kind of like the core flagship. That's like the flagship for Japan, but it's not like that aesthetic, and that spot doesn't carry over to other Starbuckses in Japan, right?
Oh,
like
I see what you're saying. That. So Nigo is going to be in charge of
Nigo
in charge of all of Family Mart.
You're like,
I see what you're saying.
What the fuck? Yeah, exactly. It's like, what's the plan here?
Yeah, he went out and make baller ass food at Family Mart. You're like, what the fuck? What kind of convenience store is this? I can't afford shit. In this economy, I can't afford shit.
It's like fucking like, what are you gonna do? Make platinum chains of katsu sandwiches, egg salad sandwiches?
Hell yeah!
What? I don't understand. Like, I have no. And yeah, I just feel so disconnected. I have no idea what is going on. It just feels like they're like Family Mart is just grasping for relevancy, but it just, to me, it's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm so confused as an American consumer.
Yeah, I feel like it doesn't. I feel like Family Mart is it doesn't need that because it already has its own culture, right? Because like when people hear about like Family Mart or Lawson, like Family Mart's popular in LA, right? There is a Family Mart in LA, downtown LA. I know AX. That's the reason why I know about that shit. But like Family Mart already has its own culture and it's already established. So I'm like, do you really want to? Oh my god, am I sounding like a boomer at the moment? Do you really want to like alter it too much? Maybe if it was like like you said, if it was like a one-off, then fine, it's pretty cool. But yeah, what would you do with it? Like, I wouldn't really want to change. I wouldn't really want to change it too much. It's like,
it's like if Pharrell did 7-Eleven. Like, what the fuck is like? What's Pharrell gonna do?
Part of me thinks he's done one before, but I don't know.
It just feels like, okay, merch. That's like the only like the closest thing, or the most tangible thing for Family Mart and the Nigo kind of like branding perspective.
Sure.
To me, yeah, it's like, okay, merch is the easiest, but it's like, was that it? Like, you just want Nigo to talk about merch or to sell merch?
Sure. Like, yeah, I guess. Like, help us think about revenue. I mean, to be fair, Nigo's done a really good job with Uniqlo, right? Isn't he also like a creative director at Uniqlo?
I'll say yes. I'll fact check later, but I don't know.
Oh, I feel like he's also another creative director at Uniqlo, specifically like the t-shirt stuff.
I mean, it makes sense. They get like really good collaborators for like
Uniqlo
graphic tees. Yeah,
that's true.
So good, so good.
God, you know,
like, how are you gonna get cause for cheap? Like, for real?
Yeah, exactly. Like, having cause on Uniqlo was pretty unique because I'm just like, how? And like, they also collaborated with him getting his book, and I got that. So I got the shirts and the book, and I'm just like, damn, that's some good ploy. So I don't know. Maybe Nigo can come up with something cool over at a Family Mart. Maybe you'll get an egg sandwich and like a cause design egg sandwich or something like that. I don't fucking know. That'd be dope as fuck. Here's your egg salad sandwich container. It's also, each of them look like a cause character. That's dope.
Yeah, and also like I've never been to Japan, so I have I only know Family Mart from like in the internet and like magazines. So it's like I only know it from this perspective. And so I'm like, I have like, other than like being a like direct competitor to 7-Eleven in Japan and just being kind of like the, I don't know, part of like late night culture and youth culture in Japan. That's the only thing I'm like, I have a window of, but I just don't understand like, why would they need Nigo?
Right. True.
You know,
I could see that. Yeah. Because you're trying to view it from this lens of like, why the fuck would I ever go to Starbucks or not Starbucks, 7-Eleven for? Why would I need a fashion creative director at a 7-Eleven kind of thing?
Why would he need Marc Jacobs to do fucking Vons? Like, what the fuck?
Hell yeah. Oh man. But like, speaking of like people who seem kind of out of place for their positions, Pharrell's new Louis Vuitton line came up. As you know, Pharrell. Okay, I know that was kind of like a hot take, but I mean, he's a music producer. He's a music producer that has good curation on his outfits. Like he has a fashion sense, but
yeah,
he was never like one of those people trained in fashion, like a Marc Jacobs, like a blah blah blah. Like he never came from like a street fashion. Like he is street fashion in a way, like a street fashion icon, but he never came from like the roots of like a street fashion kind of thing, like a Bobby Hundreds kind of thing or a Nigo kind of thing, right? So his line came up, and what did you think about it? Also, the fact that you said he started was One Wing Angel as an orchestra band, playing One Wing Angel as his like opening song, like kind of blew my mind. And I listened to that, I was just like, oh, this is for real. Like I thought you were just fucking with me when you said it's like, can you believe Nigo opened up with One Wing Angel? I'm like, there's no fucking way. Or Pharrell opened up with One Wing Angel. Like there's no fucking way. And I watched like that entire run line, and like the songs after that were all like pretty normal. I'm like, oh yeah, I expected this from like a fashion runway. I mean, yeah, it was cool. It was really, really cool. What did you think about his fashion line? What did you think about this season's fashion line?
To be honest, I couldn't shift my focus away from
One Wing Angel,
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, same here. I stopped. I tuned out a lot of those outfits.
Well, because it was like coincidental for me because I feel like I talked about this in other episodes. I got Final Fantasy before Christmas, so I started playing it. So like the last like 2 weeks I was stuck on like the final battle. So like,
oh yeah, okay.
All I heard was like One Wing Angel for this whole last time, and it's like, wait a minute, like why? What the fuck is going on? And is this real life? Like I'm not imagining it. So it like I couldn't get past that like shock. I think creatively, yeah, the aesthetics of it, especially for like the bags, it just feels like, I don't know, like I feel like his previous one, when he featured Tyler on it, oh God, I'm such a fucking stan. It was more memorable to me with like the luggage and the trunks and like even the stuff he did last year with the cowboy vibe. So that's what to me, that was like his initial debut line was very memorable to me. Mm-hmm. I think, I don't know what it was about this latest fashion, this runway where it felt like, to me, it was like trying to get your attention through mute more like from a music perspective. Because yeah, it was like yeah, you get Final Fantasy half orchestra, and then it's like I think it was Travis Scott, and then it was like two new songs produced by Pharrell, and then it was like, what? Like I just felt like it was like overload for me because I couldn't focus on the clothes, and it was like, oh shit, like
got it. It was okay. I see. I'm looking at his men's spring swimwear 2025, and there's like skate pants and stuff like that for the men's section. I'm like, oh, interesting.
I feel like I don't know if it was this round or if it was on the blog somewhere where there were like actual Louis Vuitton skateboard decks, and I was like I get it, Pharrell, like, but what the fuck are we doing? It's like, what are we doing? Like, fuck, whatever.
Damn.
So, I mean, that's my thoughts. I mean, did you have any other like kind of like takes or something that you saw interesting from it?
Not. I guess what I'm saying, what I'm trying to figure out is that this, since Virgil for sure, like Louis Vuitton's become a very young brand now, or it looks like a very young looking brand now. And I get it, like, you know, you're trying to introduce like the new generation into Louis Vuitton, like what makes Louis Vuitton nice and whatnot. Because like Louis Vuitton's could be like the luxury of the present, right? And I think like what keeps Louis Vuitton is their pattern. And
yeah,
essentially I think Louis Vuitton is still themselves. Like, even thinking about everything, like they have fucking dog leashes, Louis Vuitton dog leashes. That's insane to me. Anyways, they have trainers and stuff like that. Like that's, I guess that's really dope. Like I don't hate on it for sure, but I think I am kind of over it. Is the best way to put it. Like I think it's
that's
dope.
totally fine.
Yeah, I think like if it was, I don't know, maybe I can't do like that. I can't do some of these like styles of the pants and stuff like that. So I don't know what it is. I would probably be more of an accessory. Like I would wear Louis Vuitton accessories instead of Louis Vuitton clothes. Right? Because I feel like that was never Louis Vuitton back then, right? Because prior to Marc Jacobs, Louis Vuitton was strictly a cut and sew company, right?
Yeah.
And then like Marc Jacobs turned it into a consumer brand. It blew up. Like whatever Marc Jacobs did, like completely revolutionized the whole high-end fashion. And speaking of high-end fashion, probably like brands I really think about now is just, I'm kind of cut. Like if I was ever gonna, like I'm kind of done buying clothes now. Like I can't think of anything that would really up my wardrobe other than just buying high-end clothes. So I think I'm just gonna focus on buying high-end clothes. And I was kind of going through eBay. I was like, okay, what like top 3 brands I would wear? So I put in like Yohji Yamamoto stuff, and they're all from Japan. And I'm just like, you know what? I would probably spend $200 on like a Yohji Yamamoto cardigan, like something I have to like. And I think I'm
valid.
just
So fucking valid.
And I would just rather like do that than spend like $800 on it, right? It's just I'll spend $200 on one cardigan or something like that. And I think my wardrobe is now becoming like more muted, because like I said, like when I'm trying to, I still have some of those like all over print hoodies. I just feel really like cringed out by wearing them. So I have to like, yeah, it's so bad. And like eventually I'm like, damn, I want to like start upgrading some of my stuff. But yeah, I don't really have like a desire for having clothes anymore. But I definitely want one more turtleneck for sure. And I want a Yohji Yamamoto like turtleneck. So that's probably like the last, dude, I'm getting back into wearing all black again. Fucking emo baby.
I was gonna say, just in terms of like looking at fashion from a consumer perspective, not, or rather like an aesthetics perspective. Like I think I'm moving also like in towards that direction of like, I like how it looks, but I wouldn't buy it, right? Like if I just like had a poster of this, or like if I had like an art gallery of it, whatever, it looks really sick, right? Like,
yeah.
like I like I like in terms of like what Pharrell's done, like the all over print from Takashi Murakami. He's brought that back.
Right,
It's just
for the 20-year
like,
anniversary. Yeah.
so it's just kind of like, yo, like I think as an aesthetic piece, just like as an artistic piece, oh, that's great. But it's like, I wouldn't wear that.
Ooh, that's a
right?
good point. Ooh, yes, yes.
Like if I just had like which is like, it's like a weird, I mean, I guess maybe that's the artistry of like runway fashion is like, if you're just there for the vibes, it's almost like you're at an art show because it, you know, it's ephemeral, whatever. Like you're not gonna, you as a regular person, or like, you know, you're not rich and shit, you're not gonna buy these clothes, you know, ever. So it's like, oh yeah, you see it, you experience it, you're like, oh, this is cool. Like, yeah, like Takashi Murakami is gonna have an anime attached to this, whatever. That's like the also other aspect of like the curation around this project of like, I think that's what Pharrell has done really well upon, is like so kind of like building this universe around Louis Vuitton versus like other brands are like doing more like traditional kind of like high fashion shit. But yeah, in sense of like what I'm really trying to say is like I've moved towards like, yeah, this is like a vibe, but I can't afford this, and I just don't see myself wearing this.
Interesting. Yeah, because actually I like that idea. I see it as more of an art piece. But usually, like from that perspective, I 100% agree with you. Like I would rather have these things as an art piece rather than own, because
yeah, like if you just had a gallery of shit, like it's like, you know, if you had like your, like it feels like, I think for you to have like, instead of like having your Bape hoodie in your closet, like it would be like in a kind of like, remember that one? I just try to like, this is very niche. I know we talk about this for like to 12 people, but like that one spot in LA where it's like, it was built like an apartment and it was like their showroom.
Oh, yes.
And it was like, it just felt like the clothes fit like the context. Uh-huh. It feels like that's what clothes are in what I see from like your perspective. It's like, if it was an art gallery of like your clothes plus anime figurines plus like prints plus whatever, that's like the perfect context for this kind of like JV verse.
Yeah.
That's why it's like, to me, that's why I see that, like, oh yeah, if you just put this in more context, you like have a better like appreciation for it. But nobody's fucking having like art galleries for that. I'm just saying as like kind of like an aesthetic, like gallery type shit. Like, oh yeah, like everything has context. It's an aesthetic.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I like that. Now I'm gonna buy a bunch of fucking mannequins and just like put my hoodies on them and just leave them to the side. Like, what's up? What's up, people? You like my you like my figures? Well, here's my Bape hoodie.
Like, it's also almost like if you just like if you ever had that vision to have like a cafe, that'd be kind of like that, like a streetwear capsule cafe of like your Bape hoodie framed, or like you have your streetwear bags and like an art piece. It just, that's what I'm just saying. It's like, that's what I see that, because it's like, oh yeah, that's like, that could fit.
Oh, I like that. Good point. Yeah. But
you got to get money to do that.
Yeah, you need to have baller ass money to do that, and we don't have baller ass money unless one of us wins the lottery. So, gang, man, gang.
I think there's like when you look at fashion, I think what Pharrell does really well, and other like Marc Jacobs, even Chanel, what they do at that level of like high fashion, it feels more, you know, like approachable. Even like Rick Owens and shit, right? So those are like fucking like gold pieces, but it's like when you get down to like what you're wearing, it's like, rest in peace, fucking Quicksilver, Billabong, and Volcom. like I have not thought about those brands in probably like at least a decade, if not more. And I was sharing a post that I saw from Morning Brew. It's a valid resource. That they're shutting down their stores, and it's like, dude, I didn't realize they still had stores open.
Yeah. Like I thought everything just aggregated to like San Diego kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like those aggregate. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know what the most recent one's called, like Tilly's or something like that. I don't know what the fuck it's called. I've never stepped in there before.
Sure, Tilly's. I haven't. Sure. I haven't also stepped into Tilly's in probably 20 years too. So.
Yeah, so it's like stuff like that. I'm like, oh, I thought that's where they just like put the brands at. Like I didn't even know Vans still has a store kind of thing. I think they do. Like, there's no.
I feel like Vans is because they're owned by private equity.
Oh,
I think
that's right.
They're better suited. I think. I don't know if Quicksilver, Billabong, Villacom are private equity owned. But it just feels like, yeah, those were like the peak millennial high school like brands that kind of like, all right, well, I'll just say from like a like SoCal's perspective, I don't know the fuck about anybody else. It just felt like those brands fucking ran like high school.
Oh yeah, at least in Southern California for sure.
At least in Southern California for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it is a skate surfer brand, so skate surf brand. So I guess it was everywhere in California. For sure, but now it's now we have the age of the internet, and now that everybody just fucking has everyone could just go online to get Uniqlo. I don't even know what people wear nowadays, man. I don't even think people wear Supreme anymore, right? Since they got bought out. I don't even know what people buy anymore.
Well, I think there's like an asterisk to Supreme. I feel like just cruising around the Reddits and subreddits, like when Supreme was peak 10 years ago, when a box logo hoodie was going for like $500-$700 whatever on resale. I think it was like the rich kids were just trying to buy clout, and the people who were like really in touch with Supreme that wanted to wear Supreme just got like pushed out and just moved on to other shit. So it's like, yeah, the rich kids were wearing Supreme, and now like they moved on to other shit. So now that's where it feels like it's like something that's really behind. It just feels like this new generation hasn't picked it up, and they've like moved on to other shit, whether that's like other high-end expensive like what influences are wearing, or whether it's like doing the course correct or doing the retro cycle of like getting into like vintage and like wearing fucking JNCO and doing like thrifting. And I'm like, motherfucker, we were thrifting in like junior year of high school, like going to fucking PB,
Buffalo Exchange,
and like,
baby.
Yeah, doing all that Buffalo Exchange, Goodwill, just going down Garnett, like as high schoolers in PB, like that's what we're fucking doing. Like what the fuck, that shit ain't new.
I think it's so funny. There's this one comedian, I forgot her name. I think her name is Eliza something, but she's like, she always like her bit is like usually talking about millennial stuff. Like that's her comedy style. She loves talking about like millennials and stuff like that. So it was just funny how she was explaining like, I don't know why Gen Z hates us so much when we care so much about them kind of thing. And like, they're kind of like jacking everything that millennials and Gen X's do pretty much. Like everything, they're just, that's become, okay. I that's not fair to say. It's more like, is it all Gen Z? Or I feel like it's like the Gen Z closer to Gen Alpha kind of era of people. Like right now, for example, like my niece thing, right? It's like she's really coming in with the whole 90s style and 80s stuff. She loves like The Cure and stuff like that. I'm just like, what the fuck? This is so crazy. And so it's like she's like really relatable to talk to from time to time. So it's really dope talking to her about that kind of stuff. Well, anyways, yeah. So it's just funny seeing this revival of the 80s and 90s kind of thing. And like we see it in culture and everywhere, right? Like we see this with like the rebirth of Jurassic Park. They're remaking a bunch of like 80s, 90s animes. Like they're redoing Kenshin. They redid Dragon Ball Z. They did the new Ranma. And by the way, I would recommend watching the new Ranma. I had such a fun time watching it today.
Is that the one on Netflix?
It's so good. It really reminds me of the old one. It's just with updated voice actors and stuff like that. And oh my God, the way that the end of Shampoo arc was so good. Anyways, just nerding out for a minute. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting because like she was kind of making this point that yeah, it feels like millennials kind of like millennials are kind of like setting the groundwork for, as she said it, millennials walk so you guys can run kind of thing. And like part of me was kind of agreeing with that. But then I was reading some like comments. I was like, what are you talking about? Gen X is the one who set that up, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, true. Gen X's were those people or are like siblings who worked at Supreme to get us Supreme clothes first. Do you know what I mean? Like they were the first ones who would get us AJ1s. They were the ones who worked in LA when no one before internet who would get us the COD shirts, the Stussy shirts and all that. And then it was millennials who took the stuff that the Gen X's gave us, like the cool Gen X's too, right? I'm talking about like, yeah, you know, like John Phenom kind of level kind of thing. And then like we ran it, we made it big with the internet, and then Gen Z's like took that and they really exploded with that. So I'm giving credit what it's due with Gen X's. Like Gen X's definitely did set it up, but definitely we jogged with it, and then Gen Z ran with it. But anyways. So it's just fun seeing that recycling culture. I have no idea what the fuck I was going to say. Basically, retro's back, baby, and I love it.
Well, it's like, what do you think about JNCO jeans? I think that's like
God, it
depends on where you.
I think we've always been talking about JNCO jeans because of my knees.
Oh shit! We always look at it. It's fuck AI. We're just talking about JNCO jeans now. Like we just moved on.
We're the #1 podcast for JNCO jeans. Okay. No, I think I told you this. I randomly texted you that I was so baffled. I saw a bunch of dudes like just went out skating in JNCO jeans, and I was like, "Where the fuck is your board? Like, it's literally just pants." And they're just like, they were hovering. I was like, what the hell? Like, what is going on? I was like, Erwin, I think I'm old. I just watched a bunch of like punk rock skater dudes and like studded belts and all black hair just like skate down. But I didn't see the skateboard. They were just wearing JNCO jeans. It was dope.
I think recently I was at a Jamba Juice and like these kids came in. And I was like, oh shit. Like these like teenagers and like backpacks low, and it's like JNCO jeans, faded like black and brown hoodies. And I'm like, oh my God, I feel so old. Like I just can't process this right now. So it's like, for me, it's like, I see it and like, I know my brain is like seeing it in real time, but I'm like, I never thought the cycle would really make these jeans cool. Like I was, to me, it's like, I thought like when we were, I don't know, if we got bullied enough as a generation in high school to not wear those jeans again. So it's like kind of like, I don't know if it's for me, it's like, I don't know, it's just trauma. Like, I don't know. I never owned JNCO, but it's just like the shame of like ever talking shit about people who were wearing JNCO jeans.
Oh yeah, I never wore JNCO jeans. Yeah. I think that was like our siblings, or like at least my siblings. They were the ones with the JNCO jean generation for sure. Gen X's were definitely JNCO jeans. I feel like I never got to wear them. Like we went the opposite path. We went to skinny tight skater jeans instead. Everything was super skin tight. Like, everything was like women's pants and stuff, like women's jeans.
Yo, we were I don't know, we were doing Old Navy jeans, Gap jeans, and then like somewhat like the punk rock kids started wearing tighter jeans and like wearing tighter Levi's that I never knew existed. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I swear some of those were like women jeans. I think I remember I spoke to one of the dudes in my class. He was like, he went from skater to punk rocker, or he went from like skater to like, God, what do you call those rockers? The not glam rockers, but the long hair. God, I don't even know how to describe them. But he was like one of those rocker. He went from skater to rocker, wearing leather jackets and stuff like that.
Okay.
And had super long hair. And I was like, yo, how do you find jeans that tight? He's like, these are women's jeans. I'm like, oh shit. It was a big dude too, so just massive muffin top kind of level. But it was like, I respect that, dude. That's dope. You own that shit. See, that's, man, remember you sent me that post where like people should just be weird. And like, I'm glad I'm not sure how it is with schools now, but coming from like that time period where you had the Quicksilver jock kids, the Hot Topic people, I don't even know how you want to describe the certain punk rockers. You had the cool Asians, the nerdy Asians, like literally everything from, what's that one movie? Fucking Mean Girls.
Mean Girls?
Yeah. Like having all those different fashion styles seems so sick. And the fact that like you don't really, or I felt like when everyone starts addressing the same, I think everyone kind of loses their originality. And I kind of miss that. Like I like kind of like what, you know, I was talking shit about those kids with the JNCO jeans over there. Like I might talk shit, but at the same time, it's like, well, I'm glad that happened, right? I'm glad these different cultures are happening. Like I'm glad someone could wear like super nice clothes, or actually, except for tech bros, for some odd reason, man, I've been fucking hating tech bros lately. But like, I'm a victim of this. But like, just say, oh yeah, I just wear a hoodie. I'm like, the fuck, your hoodie is made out of cashmere and shit like that. Like, of course. What do you mean you're just a regular person? You don't know shit. What are you talking about? You've never read humanities.
You're
Go read the book
fucking watching
Sapiens.
Succession. Fucking dick.
I know. But that's different though. At least I know my shit. That's why. But if you're like born into that,
stealth wealth.
but if you're born into it, you wouldn't know it so much, right? But if you came from like different backgrounds and then you came to that, I think it's a more authentic journey.
I think what my brain is trying to say is like, the idea of like genres of like arcs and like naming things like core. So like there's normcore, cottagecore, dadcore. Like I think my hot take is that that's just dumb shit. It's just like mad lazy, because like when you start putting things into a genre and like you kind of have like this idea of like what that thing is, but then it's like that's like, yeah, that's just like your base of what it is. But then it's like to add like your personal style and to be like really in sense of like who you are. That's like, you have to break the norms of like that fucking genre and like coreification. That's just my hot take. I think
that's a good take.
Coreification is fucking dumb. Yeah, like it's just, you're able, like you need to at least have a base idea of what you like, and then it's like, yeah, then you add the pieces that like you feel like accent your like style and like your personality. I don't know, man. I'm just talking shit. I also like, I didn't also realize how long we were going to talk about fucking fashion.
Oh yeah,
we had like other topics.
That's fine. It's already hitting almost totally an hour, fine. So we can probably.
I was like, oh.
I should probably end that soon.
No, it's your thing, bro. Because it's like we were going to talk about other shit, but it's like, oh yeah, we talked about fucking Louis Vuitton and Family Mart really long.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I also didn't like expect that, but that's like every episode we have like, you know, this is like how deep, and whoever's deep this into this podcast, shout out to you. Like and subscribe, tell your friends. But like we always have like obviously like a banter section. It's like a topic, and then hot takes and like hype on. But it's like, yeah, we just we obviously just stayed in banter mode and just kind of like waved it in to like our topic.
Oh, you know, right? 100%. Because I was trying to figure out like, oh, how can we talk about nostalgia? And I was like, damn, actually, that all just like it seamlessly blended in together. Like we talked about fashion and somehow went into like Hot Topic kids in high school and Lizzie McGuire gift that she types LOL on her Nokia phone kind of thing, or her Samsung phone or something like that. I don't know if you remember that gif from like, this is like Lizzie McGuire laughing.
No.
And then she's like typing on the phone and says LOL,
like,
and then she's like laugh out loud. That's been my new favorite gift lately. It's so fucking funny. Anyways.
Oh, I think let's go. Let's go into our what we hyped on slash hot takes. I have one ready, but if you want to go first, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this, like freaking Marvel's back, baby. Like that's it. Seeing Daredevil Reborn trailer and the new Marvel's Fantastic Four like really made me happy. I know it's been building since like the Marvel's like 95 kind of thing, but man, something about those two trailers just really got me excited about Marvel again. And then there's been news about, I don't know if it's like rumors, but they're considering bringing Jonathan Majors back.
I saw the rumors. I'm like, really?
Yeah, and like part of me was like, well, okay, well, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I just feel like the multiverse saga just got so messy. It could have been like it just felt like a cameo excuse for cameos everywhere, right? Which is totally fine. I get it. That's cool. Part of me, like, I think Deadpool and Wolverine was like that final farewell to like the Fox franchise, and I think that should end it there. I think that was good enough. So excited for what's coming up in the new Fantastic Four and Daredevil series. That's really truly the only thing I'm hyped about, other than Ranma 1/2. What you got? I kept it short for once.
No, yeah. I'm not gonna do a hype on because I just feel like my take is I think everyone just needs to do a blog again.
Oh,
like,
explain.
Just fuck social media. Like, let's just go back to 2007. Let's go Zynga. Let's bring it all back.
RSS feeds.
I will do like if everyone. I don't know if everyone. It's obviously not going to happen, but like if just the friends just started doing a blog roll again, where we just share each other's blogs on the side, and it's just like I would rather do that than social media because I feel like not only like because we post on apps that are like billionaires own it, we don't. Like if we dip, we can download the content, but essentially it's on their platform. Like fuck, man, let's just fucking go back to domains and like fucking blogging, like every fucking day and shit. I would be like totally up for that if everyone did it. Otherwise, it just feels like I'm blogging at the end of the blog era. Like
blog era ended like in 2010. What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I would just be blogging into like my WordPress, and then it's like, I'm just gonna start just posting. But I'm like, I low key just miss writing words and shit. But I also miss like the kind of like aspect of not having to scroll all the goddamn time. Like I don't have to go to like the condo blog or like Lance's blog.
Lance still blog?
Or Christine. No, I don't think so. Or like Christine's blog. Like I don't like when I look at their, profiles or my friends' profiles, right? Like I'm just like freshing. I feel like I'm like, oh, do they have new content? Like is there a new story? Did Lance post a tweet? But then it's like if you're fucking back on peak or like the end of the blog era, it's like, oh, he's just done. He's done posting for today. I'll see him whatever he's gonna post tomorrow or like the fucking next day. That's all. That's my take. Go back to blogs. Bring them back.
Interesting. Have you ever heard of It's an app called, I'm not sure if it's called Timeline or it's called Tapestry. Hold on. So Timeline is an app by Tapestry, and basically it just gets it's a single area where you can add feeds to it, and that's it. So it acts like a social media form or app, but all it is just like you have to add your feed to it. So it's basically how God, what was that one news thing you sent me a long time ago? It's like the thing with like squares, and you would just follow. You would add blogs and stuff like that to it, and that'll be your central hub.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, so, I already forgot. It's been so long.
Yeah. So timeline is that. So it's basically like just contexts of like people you either follow. You can add people from Instagram. You can add blogs. You can add whatever you want. It's all yours. It's just blank. It's just completely blank. And you just add stuff to it. So you just go through like, oh, if you really want to specifically follow Lance and all his platforms, you could put all of Lance like on there. I don't know why we're using Lance as our thing, but like if you want Lance on Threads. I just thought
about the condo blog and then like everyone else around the condo blog universe.
True. Right. Oh my god, the condo blog. Oh my god, we really did all have
Adonis, Lance, fucking Christine, Ray.
Yeah, they were really good writers. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. There was like really good storytelling. It's like I low-key miss that about my friends. Like they were really good storytellers, and like I kind of like I tried to do my best to like follow suit in being a online storyteller of that kind of like caliber. So it's like I was really proud of like the peak content of like the blog era homies. So shout out to all the like PQ homies, Mary Mesa homies. Like it was a vibe. It was a time, man.
Yeah, interesting. Huh. I considered doing that, but okay, what if instead of doing like a blog style, they would do like if everyone, man, that would be so weird if I said like a journal podcast, like a blog podcast. It'd just be a solo creator and it's just them, kind of like how George Hahn reads like Scott Galloway's blog posts. That's it. It's just, that's it, what it is. It's just reads of that and that's it. I'm just reading what I wrote today. So other than that, you can either take my writing or you can take me just reading my blog posts or something like that. I don't know. Interesting idea. Maybe we all should start blogging. I like that. I don't know what the fuck I would write now.
It's the fucking counter of like being like so connected through like social media platforms. I'm like, fuck a social media platform. Just go back to domains. Like Blogspot is dead, but like just go back to buying a domain. Like that's what I like. Yeah, I have my portfolio site, but I'm like, I've been really thinking about like, what if I just do my weird blog and just do my thoughts and just be anti fucking social.
Yeah, I'd have to go back to MySpace and pick up my soy latte blog post that got fucking people talking for like a good year.
I think people talk about that shit till this day, dog.
The soy latte. If I ever see Martino, he's like, hey, what do you think about my soy latte post?
Bitch, it's the soy chai, motherfucker. Oh, yeah,
that's why. Chai latte. See, I forgot my own story already. It was a pretty profound story, I think.
It's a profound story. I just remember the comments on it. Why don't you just get a different drink, doc?
Which is also very fair.
Or what was there was another one. It's like, why don't you go to a different Starbucks? Why don't you go to fucking Coffee Bean, get something out?
See, symbolism, man. I thought I was a decent writer.
She was deep, dog. That's what I'm saying. We were like, I don't know. Like, obviously, this is the initial idea behind the podcast was to be like podcast plus blog, and it's like, I don't know. It was like past peak blog era. So for now, it's like, yeah, it's been a podcast for whatever it is. But like, yeah, it's a trip to see like the journey of like the arc over like 20 years of like who we were. Like, dude, we were fucking pretty deep as like, as like homie philosophers. Like, what the fuck? Like, we were really fucking.
Oh yeah, we were really into like, philosophy.
What the fuck? What we were on some fuck. We were on some shit, dog.
Yeah, that was before weed was legal too. We were just out here thinking and reading.
Life shit, dog.
Yeah, it was just reading, writing, and it was reading and writing, and that's it. That's what generated us. Man, it was a time you and I were really into Plato. Like, we just kept talking about Greek philosophy. God, yeah.
What the fuck? I know. And it's just kind of like a trip of like, I think about it, I'm like, yeah, man. Like, the foundation of like, fuck, I feel like we're just going in like another fucking 2-hour segment. Yeah. Anyways, let's just cap it here. Start writing all. Start a blog. Turn into a blog. Everybody start a blog.
Yeah, start a blog. Even if it's an audio blog, start a blog. Get your thoughts out there. Someone's going to vibe with it. Black Horse Was it Dark Forest Theory? That shit.
Dark shit. Black Forest, like it's fucking.
Was it Black Forest? Dark
coffee
Forest.
bean. Let me get that Black Forest ice blended, please. Hey yo, our espresso machine don't work. You got to get coffee at fucking Coffee Bean around the block. Sorry.
Hey, Coffee Bean. I still go there every winter for the winter dream tea. Anyways, blog more.
Okay, fuck.
Yeah.
We're doing it again.
Yeah,
All right.
let's wrap it up.
Again, like and subscribe. Share our content. Thank you for making it this long. If you are on the full podcast, we'll cut it up, do shorts again. I wish TikTok was still around. Anyways, this has been episode 63. We'll see you guys later.
Peace.